I would say that, going in fully and committed is huge. I think if you're not committed to whatever you're doing, it's probably not going to work.
So hi.
Hi.
We're here with Sarah Ochoa, and she is a friend of my wife's. She's a dear friend of my wife's, and she's a friend of mine. And we had the pleasure of meeting because you are a breast cancer survivor.
I am.
As is my wife. Mm-hmm. And you two became friends.
She's my breastie.
She's your breastie.
So cute.
And you were like immediate friends.
Yeah. Right away.
And you also went through the Surviving to Thriving 5-week course done by OptimizeYou.
I did.
And you have talked a little bit about some of the impact that it's had in your life and how it's changed some things in your life. Mm-hmm. And we were just really wanting to hear more about your experience, what your life was like prior to going through the course, because I think what's hard for people to understand sometimes is, what is it like doing a course? Yeah. What is it like doing a health course? What is it like doing self-development, doing inner work, any of that stuff? It's sometimes a little abstract, and you are just so articulate about things in general.
I hope so.
And we're just really happy to have you on here, and just would love to hear a little bit about your life and what your experiences have been.
Sure. There was a lot going on right before I took the course, in the midst of breast cancer treatment, chemo, and surgeries. And I think even prior to that, I think one of the stories I would tell myself a lot was, kind of this why me and here we go again, like another hard thing.
Why me?
Yes, the why me. And, and then it became so ingrained that it's like, well, this is just what it is. My life is just hard. Because there was lots of things, even growing up as a child, things that I went through, and up through, to a couple weeks ago, like finishing, another, I found a lump recently and had to have another surgery. So it was another one of these, okay, here we go. But then I go back to the course, and having been able to do the course in conjunction with medical treatments was probably one of the best things that I've ever done, because it took me out of the why me and got me really thinking about, the why not me also, and this is just my course of life. And, it really helped me, I think, just stay on point with the things that meant a lot to me. My son, my mental health, at that point was deteriorating, that was
going through treatment, with the
diagnosis, being a single mom, all these things where I thought, gosh, I don't actually know how much more I have in me. And so the course, when it came at the exact right time, because it got me to just settle down and really just focus, in all of the writing and the journaling. It was my respite. I would go sit at a cafe, because it also helped me to remove myself from the house, because the house at the time was a place of sickness.
Nursing.
Yeah, it was where, would come home from chemo and be sick. It was where I was tired. It was, all the moments crying in the shower, all of that. So it really helped me to get out and walk, honestly, to just walk the couple blocks to the coffee shop up the street and move my body.
Yeah.
Right. So moving my body, and sitting there, and, I had my little AirPods on and would write, and found that a safe space for me. And so it came at the right time.
What was your pace like in life? What was your sort of speed before diagnosis?
It was go, go, go all of the time. I don't think there was ever a moment where I really sat and took care of myself. The recharging, the hitting the reset button, it didn't exist for me, because I was so stuck really in this like machine of just life, doing, get up, go, get my son ready, going to work. I worked all through chemo. So that was something too. So I'm like, this is just what I have to do. And so the course helped me, just like slow down. And I remember, Sarah, your words too, just how important it is to take time for yourself, right? And the alone time, and setting time intentionally to do that for yourself was huge for me. It was something I didn't practice ever. I didn't honestly think I deserved that, right? I thought, this is just, again, this is my life. This is what I'm doing. I have to go, get things done, pay the bills, all these things. And didn't actually think I deserved to sit down and take a moment. So
it wasn't part of your program. It
was
wasn't
not
part of your existence.
Not
it wasn't
even
part
a
of
little
your
bit.
upbringing.
Nope, not even a little bit. Yeah.
And so now is it?
It is. It very much is. In the mornings, I get up an hour earlier than I used to. And I like my sleep. So sleep has always been good. I always had that down. Yeah, I always had that one down. But now I do get up a little earlier, but I go to bed earlier as well. So I've shifted that. And that hour by myself in the morning is everything. Yeah. I do a little bit of yoga. I do some journaling. I sit, I make my tea or my coffee, and then life kind of like starts. I don't even look at my phone anymore in the morning. So things have changed a lot.
Yeah.
And I don't even sleep with my phone in my room anymore. It's like away.
It's a big deal.
Lots of those little changes, but the routine now in the morning, I really look forward to it. Where before, getting up early was a pain, right? Or just something I had to do, and now it's something I look forward to doing.
Do you feel like it paves the way for your day to be better when you set yourself up like that?
Absolutely. And I think even just it benefits my son, right? Where I'm calmer in the morning. I'm not rushing him. So I even see it affecting him, and he gets up happier because I'm, calmer.
When we're
I'm
better,
not rushing.
they're better.
Yeah. So even, it affects everything. And so getting him up and getting him to school, not a big deal. So even just that much is changing. Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
When you were starting, or when you were thinking about doing the course, did you have any hesitations? Or did you have any doubts?
I wanted to jump right in, honestly. I was in this state of, I don't know what aside from the medical stuff I was going through, it just wasn't okay. It just was not okay. And I wanted to jump in. Yeah. I didn't really know what I was getting myself into, to be honest. But no, I was ready for something. I needed something to disrupt my life a little bit. And
do you think people have to be ready?
I don't think so. I think that people can, I think people need to choose it for themselves, right? And make that choice and say, yes, this is something I want to do, but I don't know that they need to be ready necessarily. I just was in a state where I needed something to shake me up a little bit.
Were there any, as you were going through it, were there any modules or specific strategies that were like really hitting a chord or resonating in a way where you were like, oh crap?
Oh gosh.
I know I'm asking you to like think back.
Yeah. I found it interesting, the finding out, my why, and that really struck a chord with me, and I loved that
was the
piece
first
of it. It was the first
module.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then the rewriting the script was huge for me.
So that's module 4, and it's a lot about limiting beliefs and self-talk.
Yes.
And you said one of your things was, well, this is just my life.
Yeah, this is just my life. And this is
always me.
It's always me. It's hard. My list of, limiting beliefs was so long. I thought, good God. But it was interesting as I was going through that exercise, my why changed a little bit. Initially, my why was more, I want to be impactful, and I want to do this, and I was still doing. So a lot of like doing, I realized in that, the phrase I had, in the words I'd written was still a lot of doing.
A lot of action,
still doing. And then as I wrote all my self-limiting beliefs, I started to see things a little bit differently. And my why is still to be impactful, but it's more to show up in a powerful way and in a brave way, where I realized a lot of the self-limiting beliefs were where I'd belittle myself, and I didn't want to show up, and I would shrink, and there was a lot of just shame and hiding, and I kind of found that as a theme. So then I got to rewrite my why and really being able to show up bravely and powerfully.
So
in
you went
everything that I
back.
do. I went back.
To module 1.
Yeah, which was super, like, it just was interesting to have gone through module 1 and then, you know, all the others. And yeah, and to go back and see that it shifted just a little bit. But the rewriting your script was super powerful for me. There was a lot there.
What did you think about, so in the last module, it's all about connection with others. And I know from knowing you that part of your, I mean, you are like very good at connecting with people. But one of the ways that you were connecting with different people during your breast cancer treatment and people you'd never met before.
Yeah.
And I'm just curious to know, like, what kind of stood out for you when you were going through that module and then you were thinking about these new relationships or these new connections that had never even been a consideration in your life before?
Yeah, I think opening myself up vulnerably to, you know, women that I didn't know across the world. I mean, there's a woman that I speak with that's in Beirut often. You know, just being vulnerable and open and honest, and really being honest. There's, I think, something I found as well was there's so many times where I would not necessarily lie, but kind of curate, right, sort of how I was showing up and not really being completely open,
Honest
right,
and real, yeah.
And so I was able to just, I mean, I was literally stripped down through breast cancer, no hair, no breasts, no anything.
Yeah.
So having, you know, no eyebrows, no eyelashes, all the things where I'm literally stripped, and so to be in that physical state helped also let me be more connected in an emotional state to people. And so going through that module, I also realized how important it is to not just say yes to everybody. I found something else that I was doing was giving a lot, and not because I was necessarily choosing to, but I thought that it looked good. Right.
Yeah.
There's something
more acceptance around
right.
somebody who says yes.
Yeah,
and,
exactly.
Yeah.
And so I think also going through that portion of the course, it helped me step back a little bit and choose with intention whom I'm connecting with, and not just
everybody
giving it up.
Oh my God, that's huge.
And that was huge. Yeah. So there was actually some friends that I have, stepped away from a little bit through all that, realizing that those weren't the relationships or friendships that were deep and meaningful. And, so I've lost a couple friends, but, I've also gained, you and the Leannes of the world, and, and that's been powerful for me and where I want my energy to be.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. So thinking about where you are now, clearly you've gone through a lot of change.
Yeah.
You switched jobs.
I switched jobs. Yeah.
You've moved, you've done all these things. What does it feel like now in your life going through big change and big transition?
Amazing, honestly. I feel like now I can conquer it all. And spiders have been sticking out to me lately. I see them everywhere all of a sudden. And I've been referring to the spider as my spirit animal. And I think of the spider, the web gets knocked down and they just build another beautiful web. And in my mind, the spider is happy about that. They're not, worried about change. And so I've sort of seen myself
cool.
as that now. And I'm like, oh, I just will build another web. I've moved twice this year in the midst of treatments and cancers. I switched jobs. I'm switching jobs again in a couple weeks. But it's all wonderful and things that I feel like now I'm manifesting. And they're not just things I'm doing. Like, I really feel like I'm creating this. I'm in a new relationship now, which is huge. And so I feel happy.
And you're probably like, oh, I'm going to be honest.
Yes, all of
I'm going to connect with you.
I'm going to connect in all of these things, and we're going to build a beautiful web, because that's what we do. And if things shift, that's okay. Just build another web. And so change now is like not even a big deal. And I feel also with my son, he's been able to just go with the flow as well, right? Because if they follow our lead. Yeah. And so not a big deal for him either. He's happy, and in the new house, he's happy. And so all of the things are good.
Yeah.
Do you think Tell me a little bit more about your mindset and those limiting beliefs, and like, do you try to talk to yourself differently now? Do you have things that you say to yourself?
Yeah.
Based on the exercises that we give in the course?
Yeah. Actually, I often will remind myself that I am, deserving of. There was a lot of in the limiting beliefs that I wasn't deserving of, right? And so, even yesterday, someone had called me and said, I just want to share with you how proud I am of you, and how you have inspired me in this last year. I can't even imagine what you've actually gone through, but I just want to share this with you. And it was hard for me to hear at first because I thought, oh, me, like what,
Yeah.
And then I started to let it sink in, and I thought, no, I am an inspiration, and I want to show up that way for people, and I want to show up, as a light for people, and I want them to show up, as a light as well. And so there's the way that I talk to myself now is like, yes, you are, Sarah. Like,
I'm
yes,
deserving
you are.
of.
Yeah. So a lot of it is, yes, you are.
Oh, I love
which is,
that.
it's awesome. And, my whole life, I just wanted to shrink. I wanted to be in the background.
And you're tall.
And I'm tall, and I've got big hair. I've always had big hair. So you couldn't not see me. And I always wanted to not be seen. And so now, wanting to show up bravely and powerfully. And yeah, the Sarah, yes, you are. Like, yes, you are allowed to be in this room. You are allowed to speak up. All of those things have completely shifted for me in the last, 6 months or so. So, yeah.
Yeah. Have you ever done any courses like this, or have you ever done inner work, self-development, stuff like that?
Yeah, I did probably about 10 years ago. I did a course in Los Angeles that was a lot of inner child work, which was also very powerful.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. But that was about 10 years ago. But yeah.
Yeah. And, I think a lot of people can feel like taking on a course or doing some of this work can be a little intimidating or daunting or overwhelming. There's a lot of words for it that people use.
Or is it going to work? Is it really going to do anything?
Yeah, like it's hard to know what to invest time and energy into, or, there's a lot of information out there about health and self-development. What would you say to somebody who didn't know about the course or knew about the course and just didn't know like what to expect? Because you kind of said, I didn't know what to expect, but I was ready to do it.
Right. I would say that, going in fully and committed is huge. I think if you're not committed to whatever you're doing, it's probably not going to work, right? Whatever that looks like. So that would be the first thing I would say. If you choose it, like do it and, commit to it, and show up for yourself is really what it is. It's show up for yourself, and the course will, whatever course it is, I think will happen for you and show you new things in ways that you are committed to, whether it is the sleep or the nutrition or whatever, and to do the work, like do the journaling. And sometimes it was hard. Sometimes I didn't want to like journal or write the list.
I was going to ask you, like, were there moments where you're like, ugh?
Yes, there were some times where I thought, okay, we're writing another list, but once you do it, I think for me at least, there's something about putting pen to paper, and actually physically writing it as opposed to typing.
Yes,
made a very big difference for me. So like
you talk about that all the time.
Journaling is my favorite.
Yeah.
I think seeing something in your own handwriting has such a big impact.
Yeah,
I think it resonates with your brain in a different way.
Absolutely, yeah. And I think even in editing it, scratching it out or something, the computer, completely erases it, where if you just draw a line through it or something, you can still see. There's something about that for me as well, where I could see my edits and things that changed or markings in the margins. But yeah, for me, it's really just showing up for yourself and committing. And even when you don't want to write the list, write the list.
What did you think about the module on perfectionism?
Mm-hmm.
I think we all I mean, no one's exempt, right? Like
Yeah.
we were all children once that were parented and were told to be good.
Oh, yeah.
And we were all in school and we were told to get good grades and do a good job.
I
And
mean, that's like a hard module.
Yeah.
It's
it
hard.
is.
Yeah.
What did you think about it?
Oh, that was tough for me too. I think that was tough because it brought up a lot of memories from childhood. My dad was my principal growing up.
Oh, wow.
So that was
Oh,
tough.
hey. Yeah.
So, also having this like label on me, I'm now the principal's daughter, and anything I did wasn't on my own merit. It was because of him, whether I got good grades or all these things. So then I had to like show up extra to like prove to people, but I don't want to be seen. So there's all kinds of things happening growing up. And so, yeah, going through that module was interesting. And I think helped me realize that no one's perfect, nothing's perfect. And now that I have these scars all over my body, I'm like really imperfect. So, perfectly imperfect.
Yes.
And so,
Yeah, that challenges
Yeah.
a lot of limiting beliefs. It challenges
Yeah.
a lot of, societal
Yeah.
beliefs.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. And I think too, touching on the, controllables and uncontrollables and just, your mindset and the things. I'm like, okay, it really is just, everything is a mindset. It's whatever's happening, whether it was the surgery, like I can think of it in a different way.
Yeah.
I'm shifting my thoughts and
Even with fear.
even with fear. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, how do you get around? It's, you can't always remove the fear.
Right. Exactly right. And I think that, letting myself feel the fear and not letting it sort of pass. And I sort of talk to it sometimes. I'm like, okay, I see you.
Yeah.
I see you.
Yeah.
And I know you're there, but I'm not going to let you like rule what's going on right now. And I think that's helped too. Going through the course really is helping me just shift my thinking. But yeah.
Yeah, having control of your thoughts,
Yeah.
or having that be one of the things that you have that is in your control is your mindset and the way you perceive things and our reactions and our behaviors. But so much else is out of our control.
Completely out of our control. Yeah. And I think, realizing that, and also, the course, it was a good reminder of this is a practice. It's like exercise, right? You have to keep doing it. You can't just do it the one time.
10
I
bicep
think I
curls.
did it. Yeah. And done.
Yeah.
It's not it. And so there's times where I slip and then I have to go, then I remember again. And it's practice, but having something to go back to and reference was super helpful and super important to me. And I'll go back in my journal and like flip through it,
Yeah.
like, oh yeah.
It's good reminders, just these little reminders,
things,
right?
yeah.
Life kind of takes off and we get overwhelmed and then
Yeah.
you sit down and you get back in there and you're like, all right.
Simple.
Yeah.
Basic.
Yeah. And get back on the track, you're kind of
Yeah.
veering off and it just helps you, boop, right back on. Yeah.
Something we talk about a lot, and actually one of our sort of informal missions is to help broaden the conversation and include the definition of health being not just physical, but your mental, emotional health and how connected it is.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a foundation of Chinese medicine, but it's also sort of like a logical, intuitive thing to feel. And you've talked about it as well in the past, but just within the course and post-course, what is your feeling around that interconnectedness between your mental, your emotional, and your physical being, and how it all interacts and creates this sense of health?
Yeah, no, I absolutely believe that they are all connected. I mean, even going through the treatments that I was going through, I knew that there was a medical purpose for those. But what got me through it, and I think what really helped me heal, was my mental state.
Yeah.
Was back to the Sarah, yes, you are, like, yes, you can do this. All of that positive self-talk helped push me through all the physical pain that I was going through. And so, mental and physical and emotionally, I think that, finding strength within yourself to be able to do all of those like together, I think is everything, and helped me like literally step forward every day. I was like, okay, we're going to move forward, one step forward. And being stronger and physically, like even just taking a step forward, you know, where I'm like, I can't walk, you know, I'm so tired.
Yeah.
So not only the mantra in my mind of, you know, just one step forward, but again, the physical moving my body,
Getting your strength
getting
back.
my strength back. So all of those things. So absolutely they're interconnected. Yeah.
Yeah. And being like stripped down, as you said, of all of the other things that we sort of rely on.
Yeah. Yeah. And even just, you know, thinking about how brave, you know, I was, or Leanne, and, you know, I didn't give myself room then to like pat myself on the back, because again, I was sort of just stuck
You're
in,
like in it.
the doing. But to remember back to myself walking around the streets bald, you know, and the eyes that are on you, and, you know, I didn't necessarily look sick, right? Like Leanne looked healthy, I looked healthy-ish.
I mean, you guys were
but
beautiful.
So people are looking, people, you know, and they're
like,
wondering,
you know, they have questions running through their head.
and so I think even just, you know, that mental state of remaining, you know, graceful and brave and head held up high and all of those things. And when we didn't feel great, you know, inside, we couldn't eat, all these things. But yeah, just take another step forward and walk through life bravely was huge, huge, huge. And back to the, I didn't want to be seen growing up. Well, now you really see me, you know, who's this tall, bald, you know, woman walking, you know, the streets, whatever, at the Starbucks. And it was hard, but, you know, getting through all of that, to your point, sort of emotional strength and mental strength and, you know, physical strength. I couldn't have done any of that without all three of them at all. So,
yeah. I mean, the investment of time and energy to put into something like that when you're going through treatment is pretty big. I remember, I'm just going to share this little story, but I remember this moment where you and Leanne were sitting at the counter and you were saying to each other kind of in a joking way, you know, oh, you know, so-and-so tells me I'm beautiful, and like, you know, oh, Steph will always say like, you're so pretty, like, oh, what are they, you know, and you guys are joking, but like, of course there's a little bit of truth to that. And I just remember looking at you guys and being like, you have no idea how beautiful that stripped down courage and bravery, how it shines out. And I mean, I just vividly remember that because you guys were like, you know, but it's so true.
Yeah, it's easy, I think, to brush it off, you know, and especially when you're in it. And again, there's a big piece of me that didn't think I even deserved for anybody to say I was beautiful, you know. And yeah, I do. I look back on that person just, I mean, a year ago, you know. And boy, the saying is true. Everything changes in a year, you know. But I look back and think, God, Sarah, you were beautiful, and how brave and strong. And so I really think the course also helped me just, remember and remind myself, like, I am worthy. I'm worthy. I'm worthy. And to pat myself on the back for doing all of the hard work.
And coming out the other side.
That's right.
Even better. You're here.
Even better. And
talking
a completely
on
better
a
version.
podcast. You're here in Portland for
I know.
a photo shoot.
How cool.
You're like, look at me.
I know.
It's so cool.
It is super cool. I mean, really, I have a beautiful new relationship that I'm really excited about. I have an incredible new job opportunity that's happening. Where a year ago I was, you know, in a crap relationship, in a job that I was very unhappy with. And so nothing seemed to be working for me, you know, a year ago. And now, I mean, I am so grateful. So grateful. Even just getting in the car this morning to come down here, I was thinking that, like, this is so cool.
Look at me.
Like, this is so cool.
I'm so proud of you. You're amazing.
Thank you. But it's
you've had quite a transformation.
It's been a ride. Yeah. And I even just think back to, you know, little Sarah, like, my son's 6, and I think of myself at 6 years old, and I, you know, think of her, and I think, gosh, all the things that we'll go through together. It's, you know, I'm proud of her also.
Yeah.
Right. And
Yeah.
it chokes me up a little bit, but I think of her, I'm like, oh, there's gonna be a lot, but you're gonna do it, and you're gonna come out on the other end, you know, and you're gonna stand up strong, and it like literally chokes me up because it's been a lot, and I think, you know, in all the journaling and the writing, all these things, I do think a lot back to little Sarah. Like, okay, we can do this. We've got this, you know. And I've got
hold that hand out.
I've got you. Yeah. I've got you.
And showing her who you are now.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
It's pretty
like,
cool.
look where we've come.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's pretty cool. So, yeah.
Thank you so much for
are
just
so
like
welcome.
even taking the time
Thank you.
in investing in you and just like showing up here, and I appreciate you so much.
Showing up. You're welcome.
That's the way.
That's it. That's what you do. You just show up. Yeah. But thank you.
Thank you for
you're
being
so
here.
welcome. Thank you.